Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeff Casella. I'm the athletic director here at Mentor High School, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to something that's been 2 years in the making. This should have been our induction ceremony 2 years ago, but COVID took that away from us. But we're grateful and happy to be here this evening. So before I get into our presentation and our induction tonight, I'd like to give a couple of thank yous to some people that helped to make this totally possible. To Mr. Heath, our new superintendent, who's here with us tonight, and the Mentor Board of Education. Their support of athletics in the Mentor schools and to this Hall of Fame is spectacular, so for that I thank you. To Mr. Crow, I know who's here tonight as a coach as well as principal of Mentor High School, along with the high school staff. Again, their support of my department and the athletics here at Mentor are phenomenal. To the Mentor High School Alumni Association for their help and support in this event. And to be honest with you, our Mentor Sports Hall of Fame Committee, who probably reached out to most of the inductees in here tonight, so I want to say them by name, and I know that some of them aren't here right now, but they'll be over at the reception later. Heather Ambrose, Bob Burwald, Matt Gray, Denise Marinick, Don Schutz, Bob Civic, Sarah Smerdell, Chris Whitaker. They were phenomenal, so if you could give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. I'd like to thank Rick Kraft and Jostens for these beautiful plaques that you saw in the Hall of Fame and these ones that will be added to them very shortly in our Hall of Fame. To Trophy World, who helped us out with some of the individual awards. So for those people, thank you very much for helping to make this night possible. Again, couldn't be here without those people. The Mentor High School Sports Hall of Fame was founded in its inaugural class in 1996. Since then, 140 individuals, 21 coaches, 30 teams, and 12 honorary inductees have been enshrined in our Hall of Fame. Tonight, 5 more individuals, 2 coaches, 4 teams, and 2 honorary members will join these ranks. If you think about the number of athletes that we've had go through Mentor High School and have competed on our fields, our courts, mats, tracks, and arenas of Mentor, this is pretty remarkable to have this group with us here tonight. We are extremely proud of these individuals and their team accomplishments during their time at Mentor High, and we're happy to honor them tonight and to have them join our Mentor Sports Hall of Fame. We'll be introducing each individual and team and asking them to come up on stage to accept the plaque that will be placed in the Hall of Fame and to say a few words for us tonight. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our MC for the evening, a guy that I'm sure if you've been to a Mentor High football game needs no introduction, the voice of the Cardinals, Mr. Rick Damberg.
Thank you. I think it's only appropriate for me to say, here come the Cardinals. It is so wonderful to see so many of you out here tonight. This is a very, very special evening for all of you and for our inductees. And we want to introduce the first inductee tonight. He is beyond the greatest fan of Mentor High School, and we want to introduce Mr. Joe Miller. If we had time, I believe Joe could probably tell you every stat that happened since 1984. Isn't that correct, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Joe Miller, the class of 1984, had never played a down for Mentor High School football, but was the pride of the Cardinals roaming the sidelines for 35 years. He was a defining and consistent staple woven and developed through the Mentor football traditions. Joe's journey started in 1982 as a sophomore when he was the team water boy. He continued his junior and senior years as the team manager, and his longevity as a supporter lasted through 5 head coaches. He encompassed all the accolades and customs found in the motto, once a Card, always a Card. He has bled Cardinal red and gray throughout his whole life. He witnessed some of the most highlighted football seasons and was always loved by all the coaches and players that walked through the halls of Mentor High. Over time, he was seen as the team's biggest supporter at Mentor, and he was always willing to help and contribute in any way needed. At this time, I would like Joe to share some of his thoughts and his memories with you at this time.
Good evening. I want to thank the Mentor Alumni Hall of Fame Committee for accepting me. When I moved to Mentor in 1977, I did not think I would be following Mentor sports. But thanks to Tom Frazier and his family that got me started with it. And I want to thank them for that. I also would like to thank Steve Trevisano, Jim Funk, Don Schutz, Ed Pollock, and Nestor Janiak, and Matt Gray for the years I worked under them. One of the greatest memories I had is when we won the state championship in 2013 in men's basketball. Two other great memories are when we beat St. Ed's 63-56 in the 1992 football playoffs. And the playoff game in the coldest weather were when we beat St. Ignatius 57-56 in 3 overtimes. I would like to thank Coach Bob Krasancic and Neil Grants for all the years they allowed me to handle the stats and the videotaping for men's basketball and all the traveling that I did with them. At this time, I also want to thank my mom, my dad, and my brother Jim for giving me their support. While I worked for the Mentor teams and attended all those Cardinal games, I'd like to thank also my brother Jeff for allowing time to take me to the games also. And I would like to thank Mr. Casella for all the fun times we had joking around about Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and some other sports. And also, I would like to thank John Kemp for all the things what he done. And I'd like to thank all my family, all my friends that came out to see me get this Hall of Fame award and who came far away from Indiana to see me. Finally, I want to express my thanks for being able to be a Cardinal and to now join the greatest alumni family ever. I'll always be a Cardinal.
Thank you so much, Joe. What a wonderful person he is. And Joe, go Cardinals! Thank you. Thank you very much. Our next honorary inductee tonight is Carl Paul. Let me read about Carl. For nearly 55 years, Carl Paul was an ardent supporter of Mentor High School athletics. He regularly attended football, basketball, ice hockey, baseball, and softball games. He attended wrestling matches as well as track and field competitions. It went far beyond that Carl was involved with and a supporter of his 4 daughters' activities at Mentor High, whether it was marching band, choral music, academic, or athletic. When he was in his mid-90s, Carl and his 2 buddies, who made up the terrific trio, could be seen in the stands at various home and away sporting events. Carl was still attending games a few months before his death in April of 2021 at the age of 97. He never wavered in his support of Mentor Cardinal athletics. We would like to introduce to you and accepting for the family Carl's daughters, Sherry, Lori, and Carol. Would you please come forward?
We would like to thank the Mentor High School Sports Hall of Fame Committee for honoring our father, Carl Paul, in this very special way. It was 3 months after the incident, and our father was not a happy man. He couldn't understand why his daughters, he was blessed or cursed with 4 daughters, who never played organized sports. Their spouses, his grandchildren, wouldn't let him enjoy himself. But let's go back to the incident. It happened at a Mentor High School freshman football game against St. Ignatius. Someone mentioned that the sidelines chain gang was missing a person. So Dad volunteered. After all, he knew his way around a football field. He'd been a starting tight end at Willoughby Union High in the days before World War II and still enjoyed being on the sidelines. Sometime in the first quarter of that freshman game, one of the teams, the details are a bit murky now, called for an end sweep. The ball carrier was forced out of bounds. He plowed directly into Dad, knocking him down. Players and coaches rushed over to make sure Dad was okay. He dusted himself off and was ready to resume duties. But a coach, feeling fortunate that something much worse hadn't happened, ordered Dad back to the stands. When his daughters got wind of it, they laid down the law. No more chain gang duty. Fast forward 3 months to when relatives were visiting from the Carolinas. Dad was still talking about it, complaining that he was forbidden from being on the sidelines. It's no big deal, he said. I forgot to mention, Dad was 93 years old at the time. That was just a small snapshot of the Mentor High fan that Dad was. For a half century, he was a regular at Cardinal football, basketball, wrestling, baseball, softball, ice hockey, track and field events. As soon as Mentor's schedule became official, Dad would tape it to the side of his refrigerator. He talked about that schedule to anyone who called or visited. After each game, he'd pencil in the final score next to the line on the schedule. For years, he put a wooden cardinal up on his front lawn every season. Most of us moved away when we became adults, but when Dad knew relatives were coming, he would drive over and buy tickets for everyone to attend the big game of that particular week. We were all going to that game. It was non-negotiable. But Dad didn't need relatives. He usually came with his posse, a group of guys his age. They also allowed others. Dad referred to the 70-year-olds as the young guys to cheer with them. When COVID hit, Dad still managed to sneak into a few games, but we worked to fix him up with ways to stream the games, or if that didn't work, we would find radio stations he could monitor. Just a few weeks before he passed, Mentor reached the boys' state championship basketball game. His leg had been bothering him, so he couldn't attend. But family members worked together to get him lineups and complete scouting reports. For more than 50 years, Dad remained a truly loyal Mentor High sports fan. Next season, he would tell you, we should be really good. I'm sure he's very proud of the honor he's receiving tonight. Thank you again.
And now I'd like to introduce Nestor Janiak. Football, basketball, wrestling coach. Nestor Janiak coached in the Mentor schools from 1975 through 2020. Over the course of his career, Ness coached football, basketball, and wrestling. At Ridge Junior High School, Ness coached 8th grade and freshman football, 8th grade boys basketball, and wrestling. He also coached freshman girls basketball. In coming to Mentor High School, Ness coached football from 1981 through 1995 and again from 1997 until 2020. He has coached the defensive line, defensive backs, wide receivers, and most recently, quarterbacks. He had 9 seasons in which his quarterbacks were named First Team 1 All-Ohio. 6 individual quarterbacks were named Division I First Team All-Ohio. 4 quarterbacks were named Offensive Player of the Year in Ohio in Division I, and 2 of his quarterbacks, Bart Tansky and Mitchell Trubisky, were named Mr. Football. During his tenure, the Cards played in the Region I Finals 11 times, Division I Final Four 6 times, and the Division I State Championship 4 times. Nestor's calm demeanor garnered respect from players, coaches, and parents alike. Ladies and gentlemen, Nestor Janiak.
I'll put all this over here for you.
All right, thank you. Man, it's sort of scary listening to all that stuff. It's a lot easier if you're on the sideline. I guess the first thing I'd like to do is to congratulate all the other inductees today. They're a very talented and deserving group. Next, I'd have some thank yous for a number of different people. First and foremost, my family, my wife, Karen, my daughter, Lee, and my son, Ness. For without their love and support, I couldn't have done what I did as long as I did it. I'd like to also thank the Hall of Fame Committee for giving me this great honor. The more and more I think about the honor, the more humbling and special it is. What makes it even more special is being inducted with Steve, Brandon, Connor, Mitch, and 2 very good football teams. My last thank you goes to the athletic directors and to the coaches that I worked under. I appreciate the trust that they had in me and my abilities, and let me do what I do. I want to give a special shout out to Steve Trevisano and to Matt Gray. Steve and Matt were excellent coaches to work for. They're even better men, and they're great friends. As Rick said in my intro, I coached many years, and that's probably why I'm getting this thing. But, you know, I coached multiple sports, boys and girls, and from the junior high to the varsity levels. And during that time, many individual athletes and teams were very successful. And I'm very proud of all those successes. But I'm equally as proud of those young men and women in terms of what they became. Good people, productive citizens, and effective leaders in their communities. It's been an honor and a privilege to coach these young adults and to be part of the tradition that is Mentor Athletics. Thank you.
And now our next recipient. I thought you would have about 4 or 5, 6 papers on this one. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach Steve Trevisano. Coach Trev was Mentor's head football coach from 1997 until 2019. He returned to his alma mater to lead the Cardinals to an impressive career record of 209 and 70 losses. His team won 13 conference championships while appearing in the playoffs 16 times. His teams won 6 regional championships and were state runner-up 4 times over his tenure. He was the head coach for the Ohio North-South All-Star Game in 2004. He won numerous awards over his career, including the National Football Foundation Paul Brown Coach of the Year in 2006, the Cleveland Touchdown Club Coach of the Year in 2003 and in also 2007, the Cleveland Browns Coach of the Year in 2002 and 2019, District Coach of the Year in 2017 and 2019, and State of Ohio Division I Coach of the Year in 2019. He was named Plain Dealer Coach of the Year 7 times, the News Herald Coach of the Year 4 times, and Lake County Touchdown Club Coach of the Year 12 times. Steve developed a program the entire city and school district could be proud of, and he stressed the importance of taking pride in their community. His motto of one team, one dream still holds true today. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Trevisano.
Well, I'll apologize right now. I will be a little longer than the previous ones. Although when I stood up here just now, I had a flashback. I was at a banquet. Those were always fun as a coach. I got to first start off and thank the committee when I got a call from Coach Gray to truly tell you what an honor it is. But it was an honor to have and to be the head coach here, and I said it on many occasions. To the other honorees, to Joe, I don't know if Joe's still here. To Joe is a good friend and someone who was with us all the time and traveled with us. I yelled at Joe a lot. But I was consistent at yelling everybody, wasn't I? Joe was great. Joe was around us all the time. To Carl, thank you for your loyalty. I can only hope I live anywhere near that long. After the career I had, it'll probably be much shorter. To Brandon, Mitch, and Connor, I know they're around there over there somewhere. It was my honor to watch you grow as young kids from little guys running around on the court. Remember all those days, Bob? And all of the fields, and to watch you to grow to the men you are today. I couldn't be more proud of that. And I congratulate you, and I'm honored I'm with you. To Kristen, I didn't know Kristen all that well, but I do know how good she was and talented she was. To Katie, I will tell you, I know Katie well. Poor Katie had me as a teacher for 2 times. I don't know if she liked that or not, but Katie, I will tell you this. You were a role model to my daughters, and I thank you for that, and I appreciate what you did for that. To the teams, the 12 and 13 team, we'll talk about them later. I'm just so proud of you guys, and I look at them now and thankful for all they did and to be a part of that. To the state basketball championship, what an honor it was to travel around and what I know Bob and I talked about on many occasions, what was probably the greatest semblance of multi-sport athletes I think this school has ever had on one team through those years. They were so fun to watch and talented. And to my friend Ness Janiak, you were a rock. It was always good to have that good cop when old mean Coach Triv was the bad cop, and we worked well together, and I'm proud of going in with them. Quickly to go through our process. When I came here, we were struggling. When we came here, I should say, we were struggling. When I left Mentor in 1981, I went to college and I had to give a speech in a speech class, and they say, what do you want to do when you get out of here? And I talked about someday hopefully becoming the head football coach at Mentor High School and turning it into the program we wanted it to be when I went here. Wow, how lucky was I that speech actually came true. When we came here, 18 of Lake Catholic's 22 starters were Mentor junior high football players. So we knew we had a challenge. We knew we had to make this a program that the kids who grew up here were proud of, that wanted to be. And I challenged them when they were little guys, and I say, hey, look out here, someday that's going to be you. And they were able to do that. So we built that program from the bottom up, giving it and building on several things: discipline, hard work, our Mentor kids loving their school and loving the city they were from. And I am so proud because they still now talk about it, and thankful I had that opportunity. Some thank yous to the coaches when I first took over that were here that I looked up to as mentors and got a lot from, like Bob Krasancic, Tom Makar, Jim Green, Joe Hotta and Ken Skilton, Rich Woodman, and Len Taylor. They were great role models for me, and I couldn't help but be successful having followed what they did. To the administration, all of it, from the superintendents to the principals to the assistant superintendents, counselors, and all those involved, we thank you. We thank you for helping us make this football program what it was, because without them, we would not be successful. Especially to Dr. Jackie Hoynes, who was always there with us, supporting us and helping us through tough times as a school district and making us want to be great. And I thank her for that. To Mr. Joe Specia, who was the principal here, and many of you know, who we all learned what work was. A man who arrived in the building at 4:30 and left at 8 at night. No one worked harder than Joe, and no one spent more time in Joe's office than I did, and I think he was tired of listening to me talk to him. So the first AD I had, Max Ness, I want to thank him for taking a chance on a 33-year-old with no head coaching experience to become the next head coach at the largest high school in the state of Ohio. He did it because he thought he liked what the vision I had for it, and I thank him for having the courage to do that, because a lot of people don't. To my good friend Jeff Casella, thank you for all the times together. The one who got yelled at the most was Jeff. Especially when the clock people would stop it with 1 second to go when the other team had the ball before the half. Oh, poor Jeffrey got yelled at that time. Thank you for all you do. To Sandy Lutz, his secretary, who was always there. I'm a terrible writer and those kinds of things, and she was helped me through that. To Bill Oddie, Bill Yonke, John Langdon, and Pat Lieber, thank you for all the outside things you guys did to make the program successful. To the medical staff, the doctors, the trainers, our student trainers who spent many hours getting these guys ready to go. We were there in the hot and the cold and the rain and the bad weather. I thank them. To the cheerleaders who did the same. And they sat there in the cold and the wind and the rain, and they cheered us on, and I thank them for that. To the band, the Fighting Cardinal Marching Band, that was always there. I remember the one game, it was so cold, more band members went down than football players. And I thank Steve Parumbo. He gave me a great honor. On the last game I coached at Mentor High, I got to go lead the band in the alma mater. I was pretty good at it, so I thought maybe I came at a better job when I retired. To my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister Lori aren't with us, and I thank them. I thank them for giving me the drive to be what I wanted to be when I grew up, and give me an idea of what hard work is and what we needed to do to be successful. To my sister Marcia and her husband Scott, my brother-in-law George, my brother Joe and his wife Susan, all my nieces and nephews and uncles and those. Mentor football was a family event for us. And our family gathered around and rooted around it and spent a lot of years in bad weather enjoying the game, and I thank them dearly. To the Red Line Club, this football program would not have been where it was without them and all those presidents who made the club. We were trying to think, it was over the time they raised well over $1.5 million to make that program work, and I thank them for that. And we appreciate everything they gave us, because we earned what we got. To the parents, thank you for giving me the opportunity to coach your sons and daughters. It was a great honor. I took it very seriously, and my goal was to be the best role model for them I possibly could be, to give them the ideas of what they needed to do someday to become the best men they can be and women they could be. And I thank you for allowing me to do that. I appreciate every one of you, and I know there were times that I heard a few from the stands. I didn't call the plays. That was those other guys. To the assistant coaches, Ness and Jim, I think they're back there. They were with us all 23 years, and I thank them for their extreme loyalty and dedication to this football program and this school. To Ed Pollack and Bob Burwald, Donnie Anderson, Jordan Wilcox, Don Schutz, Drew McKnight, Jim Kuzar, Wally, and all the other guys that were here, I thank them for their time and effort they gave to this football program. To Nick Alexander, Jeff Fink, Jeff Grubage, and Matt Gray, those were my 4 assistants who went on to become head coaches. And I couldn't be more proud of you, those guys, and how they learned and they went on and they run great programs. And I know Matt is doing a great job here and will continue to strive to finish our mission. To the players, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You gave me an opportunity to lead what I wanted to do when I was a young kid. You listened to what I said and you did it to the best of your ability. And I thank you for every moment of that. I've said on numerous occasions, if I were to die tomorrow, I would be one happy man for having the opportunity to be the head football coach at Mentor High School and be around such outstanding young people. To the 8 who are not with us anymore, I think about you frequently. To my daughters, Tori and Carrie, my son-in-laws, Zach and Drew, and my little buddy, I don't even know if she's still in there, she is, my little buddy CJ, and the new one that's inside there, health teacher. Girls, it was not easy to be the head football coach's daughter. Not at all. It was hard, and I understand that, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate your support and love. I appreciate what kind of daughters you were, what kind of mothers you've become or becoming, what kind of wives you were, what kind of teachers you've become, and what kind of coaches you are. Thank you for that, and I appreciate that so dearly and what you've become. I'm proud of all of you. CJ, Grandpa will be around to help you out whenever he can. They told me the Tori's is going to be a boy. Someone said to me, well, yeah, maybe he'll play football. And I said, yeah, and I'll be 75 years old at the time. So I will look forward to every minute. To my partner, Pamela, thank you for all you did. Thank you for making me a better person. Thank you for caring about this community. You worked full time. You allowed me to become what I wanted to become. You were there all along. You had your own business. You worked full time, but yet you gave hours and hours and hours to this school and this community, and you showed a lot of people what it is to give back and to care. And I couldn't be more proud to be your friend and your partner. I have one last thing I want to say, and it's to our new superintendent. First of all, welcome. But more importantly, I challenge you. I challenge you to continue to make Mentor great in everything we do. This is a great place that I took wonderful pride of being from. Keep making it great in everything. When you walk through the halls and you see the art and you see the music and you see everything this place offers, I couldn't be more proud of it. And as you go and you walk into that door every day, you remember the two most important things: the kids in it and the teachers that are working hard in it. I think all the time when I go out with my friends from high school, which, by the way, was 40 some odd years ago, we don't talk about what we learned in Algebra 2. What people talk about is guys like Ness Janiak, who taught people how to love math, how to be great. That's what we talk about. When people go, they don't talk about world history and who started World War I from Austria-Hungary. They talk about guys like Chris Parsons and Jim Funk, who taught them what went on in this world. And that's what it's about. Those teachers out there, those teachers who become the role models, now more than any point in this world that's going on, those are your two most important things. Give them what they need to be successful. Please don't listen to the outside noise. I envy you and your job, but this is a great place. It's a great community. I'm proud to have been the head football coach. Thank you. God bless. Go Cards.
Thank you, Steve. A wonderful speech, and I think it meant a lot to all of us. Our next recipient is a wonderful football player and from the class of 2014. And when I used to introduce him on the field, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Fritz. Brandon Fritz was a member of the football and basketball teams at Mentor High School. He was captain of his 2013 football team and a 3-year letter winner. His teams were 36-6 overall. In football, he was first team All-Northeast Ohio Conference 3 times, first team All-Lake County, first team All-News Herald twice, and first team All-Northeast Lake Districts his junior and senior years. Impressively, he was a 2-time member of the Division I All-Ohio football team. In his career, and I said his name a lot when he completed pass, Brandon Fritz. In his career, he had 195 receptions for 3,245 yards and 38 touchdowns. In basketball, he was Northeast Ohio Conference and honorable mention All-Ohio his senior year. He was a member of the 2012-2013 state championship team. He went on to play football at the University of North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brandon Fritz.
All right. Well, that was 2 awesome speeches. Jeff, I do wish I was consulted about the order there. So that's great. That's great. No, but that was awesome speeches. First I want to congratulate all the other inductees as well. It's such an honor to be here, to be standing here. On top of it, getting inducted with 2 coaches who meant the world to me, or 3 coaches who meant the world to me, and then obviously 2 of my best friends, along with best friends on these 3 teams. So it's such an honor. Sorry, I just got some notes here. And I just want to thank a couple people. Obviously, first and foremost, I want to thank my parents sitting over there, Kim and Bob. Thank you will never be enough. Every weekend you made sure my brother and I never missed a practice, never missed a game, from the time we stepped foot on whatever field we were playing at the time. You gave us every reason to succeed. You gave us every opportunity, and, you got to start us on that path. And, as I said, thank you is never enough, and we just really appreciate everything you've done for us. Justin, and I think most of all, on top of that too, is, you really let Justin and I live the dream as a kid. And what I really mean by that is, we got to grow up and play sports in a community like this, and we got to play with our best friends. And, it goes without being said, obviously, but I don't think everybody gets that experience. And, playing with your best friends at such a young age, all the way through high school, those are just memories I'll never forget. So, again, thank you guys. Again, I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for you. Next, I want to thank my brother, Justin. I'm sure all you guys know Justin. I'm excited to be joining the wall he's on as well. Also, I want to thank you for beating me pretty much in everything from the time I was born till about 16 or 17 years old. I know when you were throwing basketballs at me in practice when I'd miss free throws, it was all love. But, obviously that script did flip pretty quickly, and, I'm a lot bigger and stronger than him now. So, but I do owe you a lot of credit. You did help light that fire under me and, helped me really become a competitive person, and was a huge reason I succeeded. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you, and I really want to thank all the coaches and obviously my teammates here at Mentor. And I think I could speak for Mitch, Connor, and all the teammates here today, and how blessed we were. Just think about the coaches and the quality of people we have here. And obviously, Coach Triff, Coach K, Coach Gray, Coach Pollock, Coach Aaron May, it goes without said. The number of quality coaches we have here is amazing. And I don't have any kids of my own, but I can imagine as a parent, you're sending your 14 or 15-year-old to high school. They're still young and they're still learning. And I can only hope to have that type of leadership and that type of people to lead my future kids, because I came in as a 14-year-old kid and I left as an 18-year-old man. So thank you to them. It's I get a little choked up when Coach Triv and Coach Janiak talk, but you know, you guys have meant so much to me, and I really appreciate everything you guys have done. And like you said, you guys have left this place in a much better place than you found it, and we're so appreciative of that. And last but not least, I want to thank, you know, everybody who's come out today, you know, putting this together, my girlfriend, her parents, my whole family, teammates. I mean, it just warms my heart to think about the community we have here, and you know, I get goosebumps when hearing them talk, and it's just so great to be back. And the last comment I just want to make is, you know, I live out of town now, but when people ask me where I'm from, you know, I say Mentor, Ohio, proud as hell, and a big smile on my face. So, thank you.
Our next recipient, Miss Katie Hine, basketball and golf. Katie, would you please come forward? I think it's nice to have them up here while I get to speak about them. Katie Hine's entire life has been centered around athletics with her love of team sports. Beginning as a Cardinal, Katie was a 3-year letter winner, 3-year starter in basketball, and was a 2-year letter winner in golf. While excelling on the court, Katie garnished a number of accolades during her junior and senior year, but most memorably was named the 2003 Mentor High School Female Athlete of the Year. During her senior season, Katie led the Cardinals as the basketball team captain to winning the Lake Erie League and the Division I Northeast District Tournament with a 22-3 record and a perfect 14-0 in the LEL, while averaging 15.2 points per game, 5.5, 3.7 SPGs, and Katie went on to be a 3-year starter and 2-year team captain at the NCAA Division II Wheeling Jesuit University. She was a West Virginia Intercollegiate Athletic Conference champion, and her team twice qualified to play in the NCAA Division II National Tournament. After her playing days ended, Katie coached basketball collegiately for 10 years while serving 2 years as an assistant and 8 years as a head coach at the Wheeling Jesuit University and Notre Dame College of Ohio. Katie was named the 2017 Mountain East Coach of the Year and transitioned from coaching after that season to serve as an athletic administrator at Orange High School, John Carroll University, and currently she serves as the Senior Associate Director of Athletics at the NCAA Division I Towson State University in Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Katie Hine.
Thank you very much. Jeff Casella and I go back. It's hard to believe. I've graduated 20 years ago. I was doing the math in my head. I was like, this is kind of ironic. The last time I was on the stage was during our senior awards. But this was the guy that taped my ankles when I was in high school, and he did a phenomenal job. I bugged him a lot. I was in the training room a lot. But just to see his progression from athletic trainer to leading the department, I'm so happy that Mentor is in such good hands, because this guy is so passionate about Mentor athletics. So, Jeff, thanks for being a part of this, and thanks to the rest of the Hall of Fame committee. I know how hard it is to plan for events like these. It's a lot of hours, it's a lot of volunteerism, and I think, you know, just the support that you're giving alumni from Mentor High School is incredible. So thank you very much. And I'm in incredible company. I looked at the lineup and I was like, oh man, and you know, once Coach Triv went up and I realized I was speaking after him, I kind of had a pit in my stomach, but I'll do my best, and I'll speak from my heart. But Coach Triv was a big part of my high school experience. I had him for 2 years, both as phys ed and health teacher, and he was one of those coaches, and talked about it a lot that impacted me greatly, you know, and it wasn't necessarily everything I learned in health or phys ed, but it was the connective piece that we could talk about sports, and he was just a great role model in my life. And you know, women in sport was very important to Coach Triv. Like he said, he has 2 daughters he's very proud of, and just to see a male role model advocate for women in sport at a young age made a big difference in my life. So thank you to Coach Triv and the rest of the cast that's getting inducted tonight. I also got a lot of flack when I walked in here tonight for wearing the color green. I recognize we are the Mentor Cardinals. Our color is red. I got some side eyes. I got a couple people just come up to me and say, "What are you doing? Why are you wearing green? We're in a conference now with Medina, right?" And I'm wearing their color, but I feel like I have to justify why I'm wearing green. So I have a few reasons. Number one, it's my favorite color. And growing up all throughout, even, you know, Little League sports, middle school, high school, collegiately, I never was on a green team. So anytime I have the opportunity to wear green, I'm going to do it. I'm part Irish and part Italian, and my family means the world to me, and a lot of my family members are here. So there's a lot of Irish and Italians in the house. I'm representing you all. Don't forget it. And lastly, I think I feel very lucky and very fortunate. You know, as it was stated before, I've worked in collegiate athletics almost my entire career. I was a collegiate student athlete. So many lessons that I've learned started here at Mentor High School. And I just feel incredibly fortunate that I'm able to work and make an impact on student athletes' lives every day. And you know, when some people ask me, what was your journey like? How did you get to where you are? There's 2 big components that I talk about. And ironically enough, those 2 big components are in this room tonight. The first component is Mentor athletics. You know, I was someone that grew up who had a fiery, competitive spirit, as my parents can tell you, as my poor brother can tell you. He's 2 years older than me, and we went at it in the backyard our entire upbringing. But Chris was my first teammate, and he truly made me a better athlete. If you look back in the record books, Chris is by far a better athlete than I am. He was a track and cross country student athlete here at Mentor, and then went on to Youngstown. But just, you know, Mentor schools really fostering an environment where you can be competitive and you can be an athlete and you can own it, and you can still have a great time on the academic side. But let's be real, when I was here, academics weren't necessarily my forte, and Mentor embraced me. You know, that was a kid, and some of my friends are here tonight that I went to high school with, and they were very academic, and they found their niche. I found my niche through sports. So I'm so incredibly grateful for my experience at Mentor, and I was able to play a role in all the teams that I was on. I was never the best one on any of the teams I was on. 2 of my teammates are already inducted in the Hall of Fame. Sarah Smerdell is here. She's a member of the Hall of Fame committee, and Megan Scobie was on my team as well. You know, going against those 2 great athletes at practice every day certainly made me a better athlete, but I recognized I had a role, and I think in Mentor, when you're a student athlete, you always have to have a role, embrace that role, and do it well if you want to contribute. And I learned that lesson very, very early. And the other component of my story is the foundational pieces that my family instilled. You know, I'm the daughter of 2 very young parents, Mike and Dee, those Irish and Italians sitting back there. You know, they sacrificed so much for Chris and I. Chris and I are both first-generation college students. We were both collegiate student athletes. So the sacrifices that they made for us to be able to do what we love every single day, it's just, I'm forever indebted. You know, the payback will never, ever be there. And, you know, to be able to share that with you all here, how often do you get to do that with your parents here as well? So, Mom and Dad, thank you very much. Your impact and the foundational pieces that you laid mean the world to me. And I do know that I wouldn't be where I am today without you. And you know, there's some other folks here tonight, some aunts and uncles and friends, and my nephews are here. My partner Megan's here. Megan did not know me when I was a student athlete. I don't know if we would have got along if she did. That competitive, fiery spirit was probably a turnoff when I was in high school, so I'm glad we met later in life. But I just, you know, again, I want to thank all of you for being here and the opportunity to come back in town. I live in Baltimore now, and see so many familiar faces in a community that I love certainly means the world to me. So thank you.
Our next recipient, Ms. Kristen Koval, volleyball, class of 1999. Kristen, would you please come forward? While she's making her way up here, I will tell you about Kristen Koval. Kristen Koval had an outstanding volleyball career at Mentor High School. She was a 3-year letter winner with career stats of 88% serve percentage with 28 aces, 323 kills, 94% serve reception, 161 digs, and an 82% hitting percentage. During her career here at Mentor High, as a Cardinal, she garnered first-team All-Lake Erie League honors in 1997 and in 1998. In 1998, she was named News Herald Player of the Year, first-team All-Lake County, and first-team All-District. She was named Mentor's Outstanding Offensive Player as well. Kristen went on to play Division I volleyball at Ohio University on a scholarship. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Kristen Koval.
So my family asked, Kristen, are you going to have to talk tonight? And I said, well, I don't know, but if I do, looky, looky, because I'm prepared. And then I remembered how badly I sweat, and so I had to put those notes on paper. But when I got a call from Jeff regarding being in the Hall of Fame, I'm like, do you have the right person? Are you sure you're calling Kristen Koval? Because it's such an honor to be here tonight. It's really surreal, and to be present in this moment with all of you is something that I'll be so grateful for the rest of my life. When I saw the other amazing list of inductees in this class, I thought to myself, I just got winded going up the steps, getting socks, and this guy went through the NFL Combine. And I thought, oh God, you know, but that's the cool thing about high school sports. It connects us all. And those friendships and those lessons, they stick with us forever. Fun fact, I was fueled by McDonald's before every game. It was my ritual. I had 2 cheeseburgers and a large Coke and a large fry. So it worked. I also like that meal after I have too much water the night before. So that's helpful. To Coach Woodman and Jeff Casella, I wouldn't be here without you and your guidance and your support. And really to all the coaches, you're so impactful, and your roles were so vital to us as student athletes, and you really help set the trajectory for our whole lives. And the lessons that we learn with you, I still apply every day, and I'm so grateful for the memories that I made here at Mentor. Thank you to my family and my friends that are here tonight, to my mom and dad and Katie. I wouldn't be standing here without you. You sacrificed so much for us, and I'm definitely responsible for most of the gray hair on your head, so I'm sorry for that. There's a song by Kenny Chesney, and it says, don't blink, because life goes faster than you think, and it does. And when I look back at my memories here, and you're growing, you just want the people around you to be better than you and succeed. And I wish that for my family, especially my nieces and nephew Brycey, Iris, Lenny, and Gwen. I pray that you're standing here tonight and that you get to experience such a beautiful high school like Menor. Thank you.
Our next recipient, Mr. Connor Krasancic, football and basketball class of 2014. Connor, if you'll come up, please. Connor Krasancic was a football and basketball player for the Cardinals at Mentor High School. He was a member of the 2012-2013 state championship basketball team and was named to the 2013 state all-tournament team. He had 961 career points while being named to the All Northeast Ohio Conference team 3 times and the All Northeast District team. In football, the multi-talented athlete was a 3-year letter winner, was captain of the team his senior year. In 2013, he was the Mentor High School Offensive MVP, Northeast Ohio Conference Player of the Year, Lake County Offensive Player of the Year, First Team News Herald, First Team Northeast District, and First Team All-Ohio. He was awarded the Tony Fisher Award by the News Herald. Impressively, he was named the Northeast District Offensive Player of the Year and State of Ohio Division I Offensive Player of the Year. In his career, he passed for 3,222 yards with 32 touchdowns, had 115 receptions for 1,840 yards with 26 touchdowns. He rushed for 1,971 yards on 295 carries and 33 touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Connor Krasancic.
This week, when I started to think about what I was going to say tonight, it really was one of those rare moments of reflection for me. I think it's so easy in today's world to get caught up in the day-to-day grind of work, of social media, of to-do lists. But I do think it's so crucial to pause, to take a step back, and really reflect on memories like this. So it was a special week for me, just being able to go back and relive the moments in this high school. And when I reflect on my time at Mentor, I think about the lessons I learned, and there's a laundry list of them. But really, when I boil it down, it comes down to 3 things. Number 1, the importance of building meaningful relationships. We really were a brotherhood in both the football locker room and the basketball locker room and outside of the locker room. We trusted one another, we cared about one another, we loved one another, and we pushed each other to get to that next level. Number 2 is the power of a shared purpose and a clear goal. I think for most teams and most schools, they want to have a winning season, they want to make it to the playoffs, they have a lot of individual athletes that want awards, accolades, they want a scholarship, but that's not how it was at Mentor. Ever since, at a young age when we understood what winning a state championship meant, that's literally all we cared about. That was our sole focus every single day, and that's what we worked for. And the best part of it was everyone was on that same mission together. And number 3, and I think everybody can attest for this, is the importance of hard work. And one story comes to mind here is the year we won the state championship, my junior year, 2013, in basketball. We had some football players that were getting recruited. So college coaches would come down, they would watch us practice, and one day the Toledo coaching staff came down the day before a pretty big game, so they were expecting, a short walkthrough, something light, but that's not what they got. That day was one of the toughest practices of the year. It was one of the practices that we introduced what we called stations. So it was 30 minutes, it was 10 sessions, 3 minutes each. We had defensive slides, sprints, push-ups, core work, and to this day, it really was one of the toughest workouts that I've ever gone through, and we consistently did that our state championship year. But after practice, the Toledo coaches, called us over, and the first thing they said was, "I can't believe how blank crazy your dad is." And And I couldn't agree more, all with all the love in the world. But no, the next thing that they said was, if this is what you're used to, we want you to be a Rocket. And they offered me a full scholarship on the spot, and the next day they offered a handful of us. But that's just what it was like. You know, no matter what sport at Mentor, that's what every athlete that comes through this program understands, that it's a requirement to outwork everybody and to really do what others wouldn't. But those lessons of building relationships, having a shared purpose, a clear goal, and being able to have a strong work ethic, to learn those at a young age is invaluable. And I think everybody that's gone through the program, it gives us a competitive advantage in life. But none of those teachings, none of those lessons are possible without our coaches. And on the football side, I would like to thank every coach on the staff, Coach Fink, Coach Grube, Coach Wilcox, Coach Gray, Coach Pollock, Coach Burwald, Coach Funk. It was an honor to be coached by you. Coach Janiak, you were a coach and a mentor. I learned so much from you about football and, more importantly, about life. You know, everything from how to navigate relationships to choosing a college, you were always there. I thank you so much for your guidance and support. And to Coach Triv, you have an unbelievable gift of making people feel special. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me the confidence I needed when I needed it, empowering me, and challenging me to be the best football player and best person I could be. On the basketball side, you all really are like a second family. Coach May, you're one of the best people I've ever met, and we're so fortunate to have your offensive mind. And to Coach Grants, I'm so lucky to have known you my whole life, and I thank you for pushing myself and our entire team outside of our comfort zone to grow and to get where we needed to be. Lastly, my father. I've gotten the question countless times, but how was it having your dad coach you? And it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I would not change a thing about it. And granted, he did have a few years of a practice run with some bumps in the road with Cole, but I think when he got to me, he perfected the balance of being a loving parent and a tough coach. And I'm so proud to be getting inducted here tonight with everybody. Congratulations, everybody that's getting inducted. It's a special group to be a part of. But I would not be standing here if it wasn't for our coaches and my best friends and my teammates. So I'd like to thank our football players on the football field. My sophomore and junior year, I was catching tutties from the best quarterback in the country. So thank you, Mitchell, for everything that you did for me on and off the field. I love you. And then when I was playing quarterback, I had the best offensive line in the state. Mitch, Brandon, Kobo, Zolchek, everyone in the trenches. And I had weapons on the outside, Fritz, Plav, Eddie, Jake. They made my job easy. And our basketball team, I mean, what more can you say? We made history. But I think from the best part about that is from roster spots 1 through 12, we were one unit. There was no ego, no agendas, just a bunch of kids who grew up together that dreamed of winning a ring. Lastly, thank you to my family, my mom, my dad, Grandpa Mick, Grandma Fran, Aunt Sue, and my Aunt Michelle. Thank you for coming here tonight. And everyone for being there with me through it all. I love you guys. And to my brother Cole, and I should probably tell you this more often, but growing up as Cole's little brother and watching what you did on the basketball floor, that's a large part of why I'm standing up here today. I just want to end by saying how grateful I am for every single person in this room and everybody in the Mentor community. I couldn't be more proud to call Mentor home. Thank you all again for this honor. God bless.
Our next recipient, if you will come forward, please, Mr. Mitchell Trubisky, football and basketball, class of 2013. Mitchell Trubisky was a 3-year letter winner for the Cardinals in football, and his teams had a 30-8 record overall. The 2012 team captain had a remarkable senior season and career as a Cardinal on the football field with numerous awards and recognition. His senior year, he was the Mentor High School Offensive MVP, Northeast Ohio Offensive Player of the Year, Lake County Offensive Player of the Year, First Team News Herald, First Team Northeast District, First Team All-Ohio, the Tony Fisher Award winner, Northeast District Offensive Player of the Year, Ohio Division I Offensive Player of the Year, and received the Mr. Football Award for Ohio. For his career, he had a 63% completion rate for 9,128 yards and 92 touchdowns, 366 carries for 1,473 yard rushing, with 33 touchdowns as the punter, a 40.8 yard average on 20 punts. He also was a member of the boys basketball team, earning all conference honors and all Ohio special mention. He went on to play football at the University of North Carolina and was the second overall selection in the NFL draft by the Chicago Bears in 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, Mitchell Trubisky.
How's everybody doing? There's a lot of emotions coming back being here tonight. I have a lot of stuff written down. I'm not sure where it's going to go just because it's so emotional, and it's easy to talk in front of people you don't know and they're just asking you questions, but when it's in front of people you care about and you love, people you grew up in front of, it really means a lot. So I think I would just like to start by thanking the induction committee. Thank you for this huge honor. It's one of the biggest honors of my life for sure. I love being from Mentor. Everything it means, growing up as a Mentor Cardinal, it's all I ever wanted to do was play football and basketball here at Mentor. I'd like to thank my wife, Hillary, for being an incredible mother to our baby boy, Hudson. You are my rock, and I just appreciate you so much, and thank you for all your support. I'd like to thank my parents, Dave and Jean Trubisky. I wouldn't be up here. I wouldn't do anything in my life if it wasn't for you guys. All the sacrifices you made, coming to all the games, all the practices, all your love and support for pushing me, always pushing me to be the best I could be. To my siblings, Mariah, Manning, and Mason, and their significant others, Andy and Katya as well. I love our family so much. It means everything to me. My parents raised me right, and I think because of you guys, I know how to be a great father to my son now. So, Mariah, Manning, and Mason, it's your support over the years. It's not easy always being the older brother, and I know you guys got dragged a lot to my games and practices over the years, but seeing you guys in the stands and greeting me after games was always the best part. I love you guys so much, and I just appreciate all your love and support over the years. Yeah, it was a dream to play for Mentor, and growing up here definitely made me who I am today. I'd like to thank all my teammates and all my coaches, my offensive linemen who blocked for me, and I'll get into my coaches and my teammates as well, because a lot of them are inducted tonight. I'll start with Coach Trevisano. Coach Triv, you're one of my biggest mentors. You're always there for me. I think you identified me at a very young age, and you saw something in me before anyone else did, you and Coach Janiak. You gave me the tools I needed to be successful, not only in high school, but beyond. You molded me from a boy into a man. You told me how to do things the right way and how to be proud of where you're from, and I'm forever grateful for that. Growing up, there was talking about how Coach Triv developed his program here at Mentor. He wouldn't let anybody leave, so he was talking about if you grow up in Mentor, you go to Mentor and you play for Mentor. And so There was rumblings about our family potentially moving out when we were looking for a new house when I was growing up, and I think it was about 6th grade at the time. And I don't know if Coach remembers this, but he joked, if we move out of Mentor, that means I have to move in with Coach Triv, because I was going to play for the Mentor Cardinals and I was going to play for Coach Trivisano. I'll always remember that, and to this day that fired me up, and I couldn't wait at a young age till I could play for you, and I'm forever grateful. Coach Janiak. Coach Janiak is the wisest and the most humble man I know. He taught me more about the game and more about life than anyone and anything I could ever describe. I'm so grateful for the time and energy and the spirit that he invested into me. So in 6th grade, Janiak and Triv asked me to become a ball boy for the high school team, and I took that job very seriously. I felt like I was a part of the program from a young age. I loved it. I loved going to the games. I loved traveling the team. I loved being in the locker room. I felt like I was a part of the team from a very young age. And then in 7th and 8th grade hit, and I hurt my knee. I didn't think I was ever going to play again, honestly. When you're young, you don't have big perspective. You don't know these things. Janiak would come to my middle school during study hall, and he would meet with me during study hall, and we would talk about football. We would talk about life. We would talk about academics. And those 45-hour meetings or so, I'll never forget them, and it's molded my mindset and who I am today as a person because of those. So I just thank you for investing into me and seeing in something in me before I saw it in myself. To Connor and Brandon, it was getting on the field was the easy part. Throwing to you guys was the easy part. We've been playing football, basketball, and baseball together since I can remember, since we were 7 years old. It's hard to put into words being inducted into the Hall of Fame, but to do it with your 2 best friends, it's truly something special. Connor and Brandon are still 2 of the best athletes and 2 of the toughest people I've ever taken the field with to this day. I would take you guys in my foxhole, and I'd go to war with you guys any day of the week. And my son calls them Uncle Connor and Uncle Brandon because they're truly like family to me. We grew up together, we played together, and we'll always be family. It just means so much to be up here tonight. Congratulations again to all the inductees. I hope one day I'll be able to tell my son about the plaque, about all the memories, about all the accomplishments on the field. I'm going to tell him about Coach Trivisano and how he taught me about Mentor Pride. I'll tell him about Coach Janiak and all the lessons he gave with me. And I will talk to him about how I got to throw Uncle Connor and Uncle Brandon the ball on Friday Night Lights, and nobody could stop us. I love where I'm from. I love this city. It means so much to me. And like Brandon said, it's Mentor Pride for life. Wherever we go, we're super proud of where we came from. So God bless and thank you.
And now we will be introducing the teams at Mentor High School that made quite an impression here at Mentor High School and quite a memory. First of all, the 1990 volleyball team, led by head coach Rich Woodman. The 1990 edition of the Mentor Cardinals volleyball team, for the second consecutive year, advanced to the state Final Four with a regional championship victory over Magnificat. Considering the team only had 3 returning non-starters from the previous state team, their accomplishment was phenomenal. They ended the season as the Greater Cleveland Conference champions, district champions, and regional champions, posting an overall record of 23-5. Ladies and gentlemen, now being inducted into the Hall of Fame at Mentor High School, the 1990 volleyball team. Will you all please come forward? All of the recipients from the 1990, please come.
Stay up here, don't go anywhere. Who's speaking? Coach Woodman?
On behalf of the 1990 volleyball team, I'd like to thank the committee for honoring us with this award tonight. In addition, I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees who came into the Hall of Fame with us. On a second note, I have to certainly acknowledge Kristen Koval. Kristen played for Menor in 1996, 97, and 98. She started volleyball with me in 7th grade when we started a junior Olympic program here in Menor. It's the first team we ever had. She was the only 7th grader on the team with about 6 other 8th graders. From that point, she became quite a phenomenal volleyball player. And she and along with another great athletes who were on that 7th grade team and 8th grade teams when she played JOs with us, ended up being the state runner-up in 1998 with a 27-3 record. She was one of the cornerstones of that team, and I congratulate you, Kristen, for your induction today. Steve mentioned the mentor, his being proud of being a coach in Menor and building a program that the entire community could be proud of. I came in the 20th century. All these other inductees are part of the 21st century. So I feel kind of odd up here with that. I feel like I'm at work time here. But anyway, I started in 1987. And in 1987, we didn't even win a district title. And then I really didn't know what I was doing at that point in time, but I always know what the kind of person I am, and so the goal was the next year to try to win the district title, and we did that. We went to regional, and then the next year, in 1989, we went to state for the first time. That team was filled with all seniors, and all of them graduated who were starters on the team. We had 5 juniors, all of which were role players. 2 of them did not return with us their senior year. The 3 that did, Stephanie Willenchek, Shelley Henderson, and Melissa Harps, were going to be our captains. Luckily, we were also blessed with a tremendous class of juniors. You can see this is phenomenal to consider that this is 32 years ago, and all of these women have returned back here to be honored tonight. It's beyond comprehension that they're all here. One of them is here from Atlanta. So that says a lot. We started off with the idea that we'd try to be the best team we could be. And as things progressed, we lost to some formidable teams that have always been historically great volleyball teams in the state of Ohio and still are to this day. And we lost to them. One of them was Magnificat. And we got to the regionals for the 3rd time at that point, and we won the first match that day in 2, and then we played Magnificat in the final, and we beat them in 2. And that was it was beyond comprehension that we had made it to that point. And we finally went to state, and we lost to Stowe in the state semifinal, who eventually became the state champion. Along Steve's point, that was our 3rd year, my 3rd year in the program of 22 years being the head coach here. And that laid the foundation, and these women laid the foundation for what has always become, much like the football program and the basketball program and the soccer program and the cross-country programs that were all run by great coaches here. The goal was always state. And every kid, I think, every girl who came through volleyball in the Menor district in junior high, from that point forward, wanted to be part of the volleyball team at Menor schools, public schools. And from that point forward, we won 21 district titles in a row and on and on and on. But so these ladies here are the foundation of that program, much like Steve would say, the kids that started with him in the early years, or the kids that started with Bob in the early years, were the kids that led the foundation for the way the program would be run their entire careers, and Bob is still coaching as we speak. So I just wanted to thank all these women up here who have come from far and wide to be here tonight to revisit each other and to thank each other for all that they've done, and I would very much appreciate them as well. Congratulations.
Nicely said. May I? Thank you, Coach Woodman. Ladies, looking nice. My name is Shelley Henderson. I'm now Shelley Brown. I can't believe it's been 32 years. But when I saw these ladies tonight, when I came in, it was like it hadn't been a minute. It's really amazing. I just wanted to express our deepest gratitude to Coach Woodman. Something Coach Trevisano said when he was up here really struck close to home to me. You know, he said when we were in school, you know, it wasn't what we were learning. You know, yes, it was great to be in class, but Coach Woodman, you know, he was, I don't know if he remembers this, but when he says he laid the foundation of this program, he actually started at Memorial Junior High when I was in 7th grade. And he was there from 7th, 8th, and 9th grade for me, and then moved up to the high school when I became a freshman or a sophomore. And then he was my AP biology teacher, and I went on to become a biologist at the CDC down in Atlanta. So he has meant the absolute world to me my entire life, and I've looked back on those years with extreme fondness, and my memories of Mentor High School are beyond compare. And so, Mr. Woodman, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Congratulations, 1990 volleyball team. That was wonderful. And thank you to all of you women who came, like he said, far and wide to be here tonight. That's very special. The next recipients, and the team recipient, I should say, is the 2012 football team. So any of the representatives from the 2012 football team, please start making your way up here on the stage as I read about the 2012 football team. The 2012 football team from Mentor High School was led by head coach Steve Trevisano. The 2012 Mentor Cardinals finished the season with a 12-2 record. They were Northeast Ohio Conference champions, Region 1 champions, reaching the state Final Four. Led by Mr. Ohio football quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, the team racked up over 7,000 total yards for the season and scored 650 points. They averaged 46 points a game, holding the opposition to 27 points per game. This team defeated Warren Harding in the playoff opener, then had back-to-back thrilling games. They defeated St. Ed's with a 28-point fourth quarter comeback and then a 57-56 triple overtime win over St. Ignatius with a 2-point conversion to win the game. They fell short in the state semifinal, losing to the eventual state runner-up Toledo Whitmer. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate having all of the representatives here from the 2012 football team.
This team was very special, as you can see back there. Where's Coach Funk and all those guys? Are you coming up or are you standing back there? Oh, they did that well throughout their careers, stay and make me do all the dirty work. This team was special. We were fun to watch. I think games took 4 hours. We went to, was that the first game in Pennsylvania? We went to Pennsylvania and played a team, and I think it's still going on. We had Mitchell in a fantastic offense, and they had a running back, I think, help me out, James Conner, who went to the Steelers. I think he might be still playing now. He's still running. We had a fun time trying to tackle him, and it went on from there, and we went on for a very difficult schedule, and went on to probably one of the most challenging playoff runs ever. We started off with I think we played 4 teams that year, all 4 ranked in the top 10 in the state of Ohio. And it was a grind. It was a physical and mental grind. We started out with a great Warren Harding team at home who had, I think, a couple NFL guys, including one of Mitchell's teammates on there. And then we went, I want to say we went to Byers to play Eds. And we were down. And we were down, I think, 20 points or 21 points with about 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. But it was great because the sideline was so awesome and positive, and they looked at each other, and the offense had come off, and they looked at Coach Funk and the defense. They said, we need one stop. Boom, we got to stop. Those guys went right down the field. We got another stop, went right down on the field. And all of a sudden, that St. Ed's team that was one of the best teams in the state of us started to panic. And we came back and beat them in a wonderful game and a great game. And I remember a quick story on Brandon. I think this is the one that happened. They decided on 6'4" Brandon. What'd they put? A 5'6" kid on him to cover him. I was never a very bright man. But he walks over to me, hey, Coach, and I won't use the terms he sold me. He said, throw me the ball with a bad word in front of it. I wasn't very bright, and I think, who was it, Coach Gray? Coach Fink in the box at the time? And I flipped the headset over and I said, throw Brandon the ball. He goes, throw Brandon the ball. And it worked well, and they did great. And then we went on in the moment of the year in Northeast Ohio against in an absolute packed house at Byers Field with Menor and Ignatius, and they beat us the first time, didn't they? They smacked us pretty good. You could tell. Bob will get up here and he'll give you every score, and I don't remember what I did yesterday. And then it was a great game. And we took a lead early, and they tied it up, and we took the lead with about a minute to go. They came down and scored, and we went into overtime. And we went into overtime. By this time, my wife was ready to jump off the back of the building. And then we scored, and we decided to go for 2 in a memorable moment in Menor football history. And everybody says, how hard was that? I said, let's see. We had Mitch throwing to Brandon or Connor. How hard was that? That was an easy decision. Should have done it earlier. But we went on and won, and then played another top-ranked team in Moeller. No, who was it? Whitmer. And I think that was a game Brandon got hurt early, and we lost that one. But it was a phenomenal football team who, as you could tell, were even greater young men, and we were proud, and it was a grind. But I challenged these kids early in that year, and I said, put this town on your back and take them for a ride. And they did that. And we want to congratulate all these guys. Anybody want to say anything? There you go. Thank you.
How's it going again? I promise we had more than just these guys. I think we had like 100 guys on that team that year. It was a huge team, but 2012 was a special year. I truly thought we were going to go all the way, but we beat Eds and Ignatius, so that's all that really matters. We were great for a couple of reasons. It's pretty simple. We had great coaches, Coach Trevisano, Coach Janiak, Coach Funk, Coach Pollock, Coach Gray, Coach Fink, Coach Grube. You guys lead an exemplary program. We had great coaches. We loved the game of football, and we loved each other. It was that simple, and we just went for a ride, and it was a heck of a year. So I'm just grateful to be a part of that team. I love these guys up here, and thank you for recognizing us. Appreciate it.
And now, the next recipient, the 2013 football team. Led by head coach Steve Trevisano, the 2013 Mentor Cardinals finished the season with a 13-2 record. They were the Northeast Ohio Conference champions, Region 1 champions, and state runner-up. Led by Division I All-Ohio Player of the Year, Connor Krasancic, the Cards racked up almost 7,000 yards of offense. They scored 620 points for the season, averaging 41 points per game while holding their opponents to a 16-point per game average. The Cardinals opened the playoffs with wins over Brunswick and Stowe before dominating St. Ignatius in the regional final. In the state semifinal, they battled St. Ed's, coming out on top 41-38 to head to the state championship. Unfortunately, the Cards lost a back and forth battle 55-52 to Archbishop Muller to end the season as state runner-up. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2013 football team.
Anybody, any of the other 13 guys here not there? Come on up if you're there. It was another phenomenal team, and we knew we would be because we lost Mitch, and then we had Connor, and he had a bunch of receivers to throw to and a great offensive line, and Coach Funk's defense that next year was really, really good. And we got ourselves back to the title game, and I think it was a Saturday afternoon, and it was freezing cold, and it was a battle. It was back and forth, and we onside kicked and threw crazy passes, and Connor ran up and down, and Eddie Doherty must have caught, 15 passes that game, and we were lucky in that game because who was the kid from Cincinnati, the big D lineman? Sam Hubbard. He's a pretty good player, real good player. They decided to play one of the all-time better NFL defensive linemen. They played him as a safety, and we said thank you. We were able to now do what we wanted to do, and it was a wonderful football game. It didn't end our way, but I'll tell you, this was a great group of kids, and even greater men who really represented their community very well through those 2 years, and did a wonderful job. I'm going to let Brandon and Connor come up and talk a little bit.
So as Coach Tripp stated, it was senior year. I took over for Mitch and some decent size shoes to fill coming out. But I couldn't thank Mitch more when I stepped up and played quarterback. I need to thank Mitchell for all the lessons that he gave to me to move into a leadership role of a football team. And I thank Coach Triv, Coach Janiak for allowing me to have the opportunity to lead a football team. But I do want to call out, outside of the football field, you know, we talked about it a little bit, but the brotherhood part of things and the ability to handle adversity that season in 2013. We lost a horrible game in week 2 against St. Ignatius, and being able to bounce back, I think that tells all you need to know about the group of guys that we are around. Is we got absolutely obliterated against our arch rival, and we all rallied together, and that's a testament to all of our coaches, to our staff, to how close we were. And one thing a memory that comes to mind is in elementary school, all of us up here in 06 and 07, we watched the football teams come through, and we had a parade for the football guys. We made signs, we got autographs from the football team, and my whole life, and I'm sure the same with the guys behind me, I dreamt of walking through the elementary schools and experiencing that. So although we fell 3 points short, it was an unbelievable season, and I'm grateful for it.
The next team to be honored tonight is the 2012-2013 boys basketball team. So Coach Krasancic and the rest of the team, make your way up here. The 2012-2013 Mentor High School boys basketball team, led by head coach Bob Krasancic, the 2012-2013 boys basketball team won the Division I state championship with a 23-5 record. Mentor reached new heights as All-Ohio guard Jeff Foreman led a balanced scoring team of 6 players with 200-plus points to gain a 6th consecutive district title with a victory over East Technical. The Cardinals moved on to the regional round at Cleveland State University. They defeated North Canton Hoover in the semifinal game. They avenged 2 earlier league losses to Shaker Heights in the regional title game to earn their 2nd Final Four berth to Columbus, Ohio. After upsetting number 1 ranked and undefeated Columbus Northland in the semifinal game, the Cards went on to defeat Toledo Rogers in the final. This earned them the right to cut down the nets and bring home the program's first boys state title and championship trophy, the 2012-2013 boys basketball team.
Man, I'd love to hear Coach talk, but he's giving me the honors. It's an honor to be up here tonight. I want to start definitely by thanking the committee having us here tonight, putting this whole together. It's an honor to be up here. I got to thank all you guys for coming out. It's a heck of a community. It's always a good turnout. Boy, you put me on the spot, Coach. But I have to say that that's kind of how Mentor basketball is. Everything was unscripted. If you ever watched us play, we don't run a lot of plays. We just get up and down the court and we get after it. So this is unscripted. It's coming from the heart. I care a lot about these guys. It's really a heck of a program that we played for. I got to thank the Cardinal Cage Club. You guys were amazing. You gave us the tools and the resources to really do a lot that we wanted to do, whether it was during the summer, banquets, raffles, getting us buses to find a way down to Bristol, Tennessee and find a way to be successful against some really good competition to set us up for the run that we went on. So thank you for your support, all the parents and the people who are part of that. Coaching staff, I've always said it, one of the best in the state, probably the best in the country. Coach Grants, Coach May, Coach K, the rest of the support that we have. They really did a great job of, as we've said many times tonight, creating men out of the people that come through this program. It was one of Coach K's biggest things. He would always tell us, your moms probably do your laundry. You guys are really nice boys, but he always made a way to find a way to make us men. And when we stepped out onto the court, I think we did a really good job with that. That run was super special. I think we all knew that we were going to be a really good team. You guys kind of let a lot of us hang out to dry, all you athletes that played multiple sports. The summers were not fun. We'd go up against some good competition during the summers and summer leagues and whatnot. And then once the winter came around, all these guys came from basketball, baseball, football, whatever it was that we were doing. We found a way to play collectively as a team. We found success doing that. Yeah, I mean, that run was phenomenal. I think that Coach K's mentality of making sure that we played as a team, that we worked harder than anybody in the state. Coach Connor's story about going into a playoff game and Coach Grant setting up those stations, and he did not care that we had a big game ahead. He would just made us work, and it paid off. I think that a lot of those things that we learned, the hard work, the determination, the being able to play together as a team, that's all translated. These guys all are successful. None of us 10 years later got ourselves in any trouble. We're all leading good lives, starting families, and it's just a really good thing to see. Just taking us back to the fact that on the inside of these rings we've engraved brotherhood, and I think that we can all come back here and agree that we're a band of brothers that did something really special for this city and had some great support behind us. So it's an honor. I appreciate you guys.
No. Listen. I've been coaching forever, but listening to especially Trev and my son, and man, that was tough. I've had the extreme honor of 3 years ago sitting in, not the stands, but at a dinner, and my son Cole got inducted with Justin, and then tonight, having Connor get in, unbelievably special. But listening to Triv, I realized how lucky I was. In 1993, I was offered the Pittsburgh Shaler job, and Marty Hoover called Ed, turned down the Mentor job, and Marty said, would you reconsider? And I thought about it, and I said, yes, I will, and I'll take the job. Probably the best decision I've ever made in my life, because my kids grew up here. Cole and Connor, the Mentor community is unbelievably special. I mean, Triv didn't allude to this, but we have 2 big-time programs, and I thought, with Jackie Hoynes as a superintendent and Triv and myself, I mean, when she would come into the school and we would both think, I was hoping Triv was in trouble and he was hoping that I was in trouble, but we actually had an unbelievable working relationship. Before Connor played football, Triv let me on the sidelines, and I was more nervous watching his football game, especially with my son play, because I didn't have control. But Mentor's a truly special place. We really quick, we talk about producing the elite athlete in every way, academically, athletically, socially, morally. And the young men behind me represent those ideals better than anybody in the United States. They're successful in every way, and I couldn't be more proud. Jeff alluded to it, on the inside of this ring on the state championship, it says brotherhood. And that's why. And I think that the school system, we understand what working together is, but more important, outworking every other team in the state of Ohio. The parents, we can't do this without you. You do an unbelievable job. And I listened to a college coach talking about love can do an amazing amount of things. And I heard the athletes and the coaches talking about love, and there's a lot of love in Mentor. You guys have a great night. I'll see you at St. John Vianney.
I will now turn it back over to Jeff Casella. Let me just say again, it was a pleasure to have Jeff have me come to be the MC tonight. It was a pleasure to see and remember a lot of these plays from basketball, volleyball, football. And so now I'll turn it over to Jeff Casella for the rest of the evening and give you directions on what's going to happen later on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Great job as always. You know, next year, you don't know this, but Rick will be doing his 50th year of announcing at Mentor High football, so can't wait for that. And he is coming back. He can't quit. I'm just telling him right now. We're going to get you out of here real quick, go over to St. John Vianney, enjoy the rest of your evening. Again, thanks for coming tonight. A couple of just general announcements so that everybody's on the same page. Inductees, your plaques, take all the pictures you want with them tonight, but I need them back. Unfortunately, they got to go in the hallway, so I'll collect those from you at St. John Vianney, so take them with you, take lots of pictures with them, but the big plaques, I do need them back. They have to go on in the hall. If you don't have a ticket for the reception and would like to come, please join us. We'll have tickets there for you to get if you want to. And I've been told to remind everybody that, yes, the bar is a cash bar, and it's cash. So if you don't have cash with you, you better stop and get some if you want to have a beverage or two. All right? Have a great night. Safe travel with St. John Vianney, and we'll see you over there. Thanks again, everybody.